Hello, everyone. Welcome in. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I am excited. I am grateful that you are here. My name is Kobe Cornell Boone. I'm managing director and founder of Boone Capital. We are a private equity firm based in real assets such as land, ranches, timber, recreation and all the wonderful things that come along with being in the outdoors, man. So this is not going to be a boring video at all. I'm actually pretty excited about this video. Instead of having the suit on and the button down shirt, if you will, man. Today I'm gonna talk a little bit about something that I'm excited about as a outdoorsman, as a lifetime conservationist, as a 31-year old, as a millennial as well, and that is the next generation of stewards, man, the next generation of conservationists. And I want to come with you guys with a couple of facts. I think a couple of weeks ago, when the news came out about the late great Ted Turner passing away, there was of course people talk about his accolades and CNN and whatnot, and that's great. And then from the outdoors industry, you had folks that were talking about, of course, his contribution to restoring the bison, his I think millions of acres, right? Yeah, millions of acres of land that he owned, and I'm sure owned and sold and stewarded over the years. And there's a little bit of a dialogue there about, one of our great land stewards and what happens next with land. And I think there's an undercurrent conversation that was not discussed that I want to bring up on today's video, is that the next generation of land steward, the next generation of conservationists is going to look very different. And I'm sure you know where I'm kind of going with this video, but I might actually surprise you on today. So let's start off with a couple of key facts. So Ted Turner, right? Turner Enterprises says Turner's ranches included about 2 million acres of personal and ranch land with 13 ranches in 6 U.S. states. I think primarily along the Midwest, if I'm not mistaken, and more than 45,000 bison managed across Turner ranches. Now, I'm going to show you what the next generation is going to look like. Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul, big time YouTuber, reportedly bought Southland's plantation in Decatur County, Georgia, for $39 million. John Kohler and Associates described it as a 5,746 acre estate. Other reports say it was actually 5,653 acres. So give or take, either way, it's 5,600 acres, man. And I know this to be this particular plantation in this area was known for great bucks, great deer. I think he's actually high fencing the property now as well. And I know they've got plenty of turkey, plenty of quail down that area. But let's keep going. George Hill, NBA, right, owns Scenic Hills Ranch near San Antonio. ESPN actually reported it as an 850-acre ranch, and described it as holding over 1,000 animals. So he's got exotics, zebras, elk, antelope, ostrich. It looks like he's got oryx and more, man. So brother is dialed in. Jason Brown, NFL, right, former NFL center, founded First Fruits Farm in Lewisburg, North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina. I actually know about Lewisburg. If I'm not mistaken, Lewisburg. Is that 919 or 252? I think that's 919. I think that's going up Raleigh way. But multiple sources describe it as a 1,000-acre farm focused on faith, come on, farming and hunger relief. And I actually pulled that from Growing a Greener World, that website. Amazing. Kanye West, right? Everybody knows Ye. Bought Wyoming ranches, including Bighorn Mountain Ranch, which was reported at 6,713 acres, and Monster Lake Ranch, which was reported around 3,885 acres. Give or take, they said there's some other assemblages at 4,500 acres as well, depending on the reports. He later sold Bighorn Mountain Ranch. This is important. I saw this too. He actually sold Bighorn back to the original owners too. Rick Ross, so the Promised Land Estate in Fayetteville, Georgia, sits on 235 acres. The boss, right? Rick Ross, with a massive mansion. I think that property, if I'm not mistaken, Rick Ross's property was Evander Holyfield's property while he was heavyweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. But Again, Fayetteville, Georgia, 235 acres. Architectural Digest reported he later bought another 87 acres that was adjacent to his property as well. And I'm sure I wanted to tell you guys of, especially if you're watching my video, how he has monetized that property from the car shows and all kinds of other events that he's doing as well. I don't know if he's doing any hunts yet, but he enjoys cutting his grass, and hey, his is his. He can enjoy it, man. Last one I'll hit on is Jeffree Star. So he bought a 70-acre Wyoming ranch near Casper after selling his Calabasas mansion. Hey, man, capital gains. Got to move it to something else. Showing the creator to ranch lifestyle shift. And there's so many other people. I know Nick Bayer, somebody I watch closely as a 3-time marathoner myself, who started Bear Nutrition products, and the Go One More Ultra is a race. It's an ultra marathon that he has actually at his ranch outside of Austin, Texas. And they had folks coming from all over to that property to run. So what am I sharing with these names for the video? The biggest thing is that the old landowner who was your overalls wearing rancher, and I have overalls, so no offense against. I got Masio overalls actually, so no offense against overall wearers. But that idea that your old rancher, old oil family, timber family, inherited estate, if you will, owner, that avatar, if you will, is changing. The new landowner might very well be a YouTuber, might be a creator, it might be a Mr. Beast, could be a music artist, an athlete, a founder, an operator. And what I'm seeing increasingly is that they're not just buying land, they're buying platforms, they're buying real tangible assets, as opposed to when I was coming up, I would say, and this sounds crazy to say, but you know, I grew up on MTV Cribs. So back in the day, your MTV Cribs folks, they were going through houses, and it's funny because some of them houses were rentals. They weren't houses they actually owned, which is absolutely crazy. But anyway, you would think about the lifestyles of the rich and famous, and they'd have these huge homes, thousands of square feet, and that was kind of like, oh, if you're famous, you have this type of house. And I think a mix of things, a mix of factors between economy, I think better education, I think better financial literacy. I would definitely say so. There's some amazing programs that some of your professional athletes are taking out earlier in their W-2 careers as professional athletes, where they're saying, hey, I'll make these allocations towards things that are actually going to appreciate in my favor as opposed against my favor, and then build my platform, build my following, if you will, based on real experiences. Um, I'll share as well, just to share a story. I had the opportunity to go down a couple of years ago now. I think it was it 2025 or 2020? I think it was 2024. I went down to South Georgia, outside of Warner Robins, not too far away, to a dove hunt with the group 24/7 Hunt. Some amazing guys out there, amazing family. Had an opportunity to kick it with one of the founders' father. We actually sat down, ate a plate of food together beside the fire. Man, it was smoked a cigar. Just an amazing time down there with some of his family members. But anyway, those guys have amassed, I'm sure, millions of views now on social media, from all the different platforms. So, but anyway, went down here for a 2-day dove hunt. It was $400 a ticket. There was cars back, and this was the second year. They said the first year had even more people. One of my buddies out of Florida actually put me onto it. But anyway, went down here to this dove hunt for 2 days for the fellowship, $400 a ticket. Jeeps, trucks, side by sides, 120, $140,000 trucks, all custom modifications, whatever, as far back as I could see. And we're in deep South Georgia, y'all. Like we're at least deep South Georgia to me. It was how far from Atlanta? I think it was like 3.5 hours from Atlanta, and everybody's paid $400 a ticket. So I mean, hey, you sitting here in line waiting to get through the gate, you start to count it up. Hey, there's some good money here. Those guys easily had to clear, bro, 50,000, easily had to clear more than that. Cause like I said, it was at least 200 cars, not even talking about each member, how many cars. I went solo, how many people were in that car, in that truck that came down for that particular experience. And most folks came down with either a spouse, their kids. I think kids were free, but a spouse, a partner, a homeboy, or something like that. So you look at just rough numbers, for example, either owning a piece of property or leasing a piece of property for an experience, being able to curate that experience and build a online audience of people from all over. I thought about this yesterday. What I'm seeing now is that while the traditional location approach to land still is relevant, still is definitely relevant in residential, in this more connected world that we have now, if you will, I'm seeing properties that historically would only attract your local hunter, your local outdoorsman, it being marketed online, you're getting people traveling from far and wide. It's the same thing that happens with folks who travel state to state to go for hunts. So for all my outdoorsmen and folks that are out there, or maybe new outdoorsmen, it's a pretty popular thing for folks to go chase white-tailed deer, for example, in Kansas. Um, Illinois got some big bucks for sure. Your Midwest region, your big row crop states. You got guys that will get out of state tags. I'm sure you guys know, like Cameron Haynes, big time, big time YouTuber. I don't know how he is on the landowner side, but I'm sure he has some land or something somewhere. I know he came out of the timber world out in the Pacific Northwest chasing elk. So you've got folks now who are more connected than they've ever been before, make more money, dare I say, at scale. If you talk to your old timers who've been in real estate for years, I was watching a podcast yesterday with the co-founder of Whitetail Properties. I can't call his name right now. Last name Perez. Last name Perez. I think he had the Whitetail channel or Whitetail something channel back in the day. But anyway, he co-founded Whitetail Properties, which is one of your premier, if you will, outdoorsmen, rural land, hunting property, recreational property brokerages that's out there. And he was just talking yesterday about folks making more money now than what they used to 20, 30 years ago at scale. And we're more connected than we were with social media and stuff than 20, 30 years ago as well, right? So you have this beautiful confluence of marketing, of branding, of connectivity, and then you have this desire, this deep return, if you will, to the country, which was almost the name of this video, which is returning to the country. The great renaissance is the return to the country. You have a whole lot of folks that want to get in the outdoors. They want real experiences. They want to connect with people in a unique way. And this confluence is kind of bringing people back to rural land in a way that if you're within a travel corridor, I can tell you right now in Texas, people will drive. Man, you got a great experience. You got great stuff going on. Folks can get out, do zip lining. There's a national park nearby. There's some public game land nearby. There's great hotels and or lodging on site available. Man, folks will drive. So it's pretty cool. And I don't want to monologue too long, but I wanted to make sure that I really hit it home with this video that for me as a person who, again, is a lifetime conservationist, has invested and continues and will continue to invest and sow into organizations that protect wild spaces and places. I think I think the outdoors industry will have to transform. I think the outdoors industry, if we want to protect the sport, if we want to protect the wildlife, if we want to continue to have beautiful private ownership of land, it can only go one of two ways. One, we have to adapt and grow as an industry, um, as conservationists, and we have to educate that next generation that would just go and buy the whatever dollar you want to put to it, single family home in a residential master plan community or subdivision, or the $1 million townhome or something, if you will, and instead say, hey, that's cool too, right? If you want to do that, but you can also leave a great legacy for your family by going and investing with a couple of buddies in a ranch, in a small 50, 100 acre track, or 25, wherever you can start at, get that thing, have a long-term vision of management and improve that property, add water, add trails, add gravel, make it more accessible, utility set up, and then grow and build. And I think that's the kind of approach. Again, I'm probably monologuing on the video now, but I think that is what has started to appeal to some of these different groups and folks who are saying, "Hey, maybe I only have but so many years in the league, if you will, or have so many best years to play. What really matters to me?" And right at 15 minutes, but I'll tie it up with this. I got a buddy now that's just retired from the NBA. We've been having some great conversations. Amazing man of family, man of God, just amazing brother. We've been having some conversations lately, and this is not just me coming up with something and blowing smoke. Like, I'm actively having conversations with former athletes. I don't even say former, but professional athletes who are now retired, who had the time, that they didn't have for years, to get out and fish and hunt and enjoy time with their families. And yeah, this is the type of thing that they are interested in and that they're dialed into all day long, is land. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it relevant. If you like this type of stuff, let me know. I can record more of these. And I will. It's not always just about numbers and the next deal. Our mission is to acquire, improve, and exit 10,000 acres within the next 10 years. And I definitely believe we'll be able to do it. But it's not just going to be because of a deal. It's going to be because of legacy, stewardship, ultimately what I believe I've been called to do with this platform on land acquisition and protecting wild places and spaces that God has given us. So again, want to talk? www.booncapital.co. That's booncapital.co, CEO. Would love to have a conversation with you. But until next time, God bless everyone.